Now, as some of you may have known already, the WGA have officially reached a tentative agreement to end their strike. In exchange for a bunch of benefits, we have some summary of what they are getting today. Now, the strike ended, I believe, the news broke September 26th. And ended at 12:01 a.m. So it would have really ended at September 27th. So the time of this recording, it was 2 days ago, almost 3. We have a summary laid out. Adam Conover also pointed out. Adam Conover from Adam Ruins Everything and the G Word on Netflix. He has played a very big part in this. He's been very much outspoken, constantly talking about it. And just some of the details right here. Success-based residuals. That means that depending on how successful the show was, your residuals will increase based on that, which wasn't a factor beforehand. It didn't matter how popular the show was, you had a fixed amount of residuals you would get from that show. Even if you were on a very big show like Breaking Bad, you would only get a fixed number of residuals regardless of how popular that show was or how much success it found. Strong limitations on AI, which is great. Minimal writers' room staffing, so making sure there's not too many people, in the writers' room. Guaranteed compensation and 13-week minimums for comedy variety writers and streaming. And just based on that, he also points out a lot of more stuff. Guaranteed 2-step deals for screenwriters. Guarantee that writers be kept on through production. Basically, that they are there to make sure if there's anything that needs fixing, they are a part of it through production, just in case we're having a problem with production that clashes with the writing and we need to fix it to go on with the production of the show. Script fees for staff writers, just a lot of stuff. And again, we have this right here. Apparently, this agreement is from September 25th, 2023 to May 1st, 2026. So, a 3-year deal, a little less than. So, 2.5, kind of. Increased health and pension contribute rate, increasing by 0.5%. In the second year of the agreement from 11.5 to 12%, which is a big leap. Really great. There's there's definitely going to be a lot of limitations when it comes to AI. I'm going to read it out. We have established regulations for the use of artificial intelligence or AI on MBA covered projects in the following ways. AI can't write or rewrite literary material, and AI generated material will not be considered source material under the MBA, meaning that AI generated material can't be used to undermine a writer's credit or separated rights. A writer can choose to use AI while performing writing services if the company consents and provided that the writer follows applicable company policies, but the company can't require the writer to use AI software like ChatGPT when performing writing services. The company must disclose to the writer if any materials given to the writer have been generated by AI or incorporate AI-generated material. The WGA reserves the right to assert the exploitation of writers' material to train AI is prohibited by MBA, which is, just these 4 things is really great. Basically meaning that these companies can't use AI to, replace writers, and they can't use the writers to boost their AI. And I mean, it's this is a very big list. I'm not gonna get into everything here, but it's really, really good. I would, if you're interested in it, I would definitely look it up, see all the stuff that's getting increased from this, especially if you want to become a writer in the future. But it's very good. I know Adam Conover was also on Hassan Spiker stream. I'll leave a video to that because I'm pretty sure Hassan made a video to it in which he kind of goes over it. This is just a really big deal. SAG-AFTRA is still on, the picket line. They're still striking. This does lead hope, though, that their strike will probably end soon, too. Speaking of big, the UAW, the United Auto Workers, have also gone on strike, and they're coming with these 4 key demands: wage increases of about 40%, reinstating cost of living protections, ending the 2-year system for wage and benefits, and job security, which is job security in the EV transition. EV obviously standing for electrical vehicles. Basically, they want to make sure that they're not going to lose their jobs just because of a transition in electric vehicles, which is, as it says here, an industry-wide shift. And they're hoping it doesn't underscore them and make it easier for them to lose their jobs, so they want job security for that. They want to be able to, afford to live, basically. They want more money because they're doing, the jobs they do are very taxing. They want to be able to, make a living, so obviously they want wage increase, they want to have cost of living protections, and this is a really big deal. And the reason why I'm really mentioning this, other than the fact that this is a really big strike going on, when it comes to the, just the rise of striking in general, a lot of, industries have been going on strike. We saw it with UPS workers recently. They, a couple of weeks ago, I believe, but they've already settled. With the UWA, it's still going on, but they definitely had a very big increase in support, at least with President Biden joining the picket line, which is a really big deal because this has never happened. A sitting president, a president in office, has never joined a picket line before. This is a really big deal. We have the video right here from CBS, and we're just going to watch it.
Oh, sure. One thing is real simple, I'm going to be very brief. The fact of the matter is that you guys, UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices. You gave up a lot. And the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too.
This is a really big deal. No sitting president has really gone out to a picking line or even shown this much support just for a strike in general. He's really putting himself out there, and this is, in terms of the right, this doesn't make him look good. I mean, they're just gonna attack him for any reason, and I'm not a fan of Joe Biden. I'm not a big Biden fan. All right, I wouldn't usually vote for him. I don't know. There's nothing about him that makes me want to be oh yeah, I would vote for you. But this is really big. This definitely would make me consider it a lot more. But this is definitely a good look for him. The people, and the reason why is because I feel even people on the left, their general consensus, Biden's not really popular. That's the thing. But I think after this, especially with the UAW, union workers, or just people who are very working class people who aren't completely on the right, I feel they could see this and definitely be this is very supportive. And it's in regards to a president joining a picket line, which again never happened before. This is pretty big for him. It definitely makes him look really, really good. But I remember I'm gonna be covering the second presidential debate soon. But I remember in that there were a lot of candidates who were kind of attacking him for it, and I don't know. It's just so weird because this is definitely a good thing, and it doesn't get a lot of coverage, which I feel is weird. For this really big thing, there hasn't been much talk about it, despite the fact that this is pretty big. It's the first time a president has ever joined a picket line.
Stick with it. You deserve the significant raise you need and other benefits.
Let's get it!
Let's get back who we lost, okay? Yeah! We say them, it's about time them to step up for us. Thank you. Now, there's a guy I know you don't know here, but I brought him along anyway. Sean Payne, your president. Yeah! All right, good afternoon, UAW family. I want to thank Local 174, home of Walter Reuther. Thank this local leadership and Director Laura Dickerson.
Damn, they're just giving it on Biden. They're not giving the union president any love. Come on, man.
This site, Willow Run, it holds a historic
place in the history of our union and our country. You know, this was part of the arsenal of democracy during...
I will say, the biggest, the only whiff when it comes to this video is that none of the media, none of the media that was there covering this couldn't get a good microphone. Like, come on. Why do we have to, like, hear this all from, like, a megaphone? I mean, they're obviously trying to talk to their people, but still, like, the audio on this is terrible.
World War II. It's where they built the B-24 Liberator bomber. You know, that bomber, they built one of those per hour when they were at their peak. It's what helped us win the war. So today, 80 years later, we find ourselves here again with the arsenal of democracy. It's a different kind of arsenal of democracy, and it's a different kind of war we're fighting. Today, the enemy isn't some foreign country miles away. It's right here in our own area. It's corporate greed.
Bars. He's throwing bars.
And the weapon we produce to fight that enemy is the liberators, the true liberators. It's the working class people, all of you working your butts off on those lines to deliver great product for our companies.
That's right.
That's how we're going to defeat these people. That's how we're going to defeat corporate greed, is by standing together. You know, this is a historic moment. The first time in our country's history that a sitting USA president has came out and stood on the picket line. Our president chose to stand up with workers in our fight for economic and social justice. It's a historic day, a historic moment in time. You know, just as today, you know, it's about the auto workers who are part of the fabric of the working class of this country. We're the people that make the world run. It's not the billionaire class, not the elite few. It's the working class of the billions of people who have been left behind. That's what this battle's about, changing that. You know what's going to move this? It's not some executive that owns our future. It's us. It's working class people from all walks of life. You know, it's what we decide to do together that's going to change it. It's going to shape the future of this earth and for future generations. And that's the economic reality that corporate executives don't want us to recognize. Yeah. I see these CEOs trying to justify a system where they take all the profit and the workers are left to fight for the scraps and live paycheck to paycheck. That's got to end. Yeah. They say they deserve all the profit because they say they're different. You know what? They are different. They have different degrees. They have different responsibilities. They have different titles, different positions. You know what? I agree, though. They're different. Let's talk about some of that. These CEOs sit in their offices. They sit in meetings, and they make decisions. But we make the product.
Every poll I ever saw when I was there was about 1/3 that was Republican, 1/3 Democratic, and 1/3...
I apologize for the interruption. We're going to hear the president, and I'll come right back to you.
The middle class. That's a fact.
It's a fact, Jack.
Let's keep going. You deserve what you've earned, and you've earned a hell of a lot more than you're getting paid now. Thank you very much.
So has he earned the vote? I thought this might have been a longer speech, but we see him there shaking hands, a couple of brief messages. Talk to us about what you are hearing from the president and what this all does.
First, it might be the shortest Biden speech I've seen, that last piece, but it was impactful.
Yeah, he wanted to end on a high note. He was just like, I'm going to end with this right here. It's just going to be a mic drop. And he did pretty well. Again, this is really big news. It's a really good look for him. Outside of that, then we had Trump. who, I believe it was in Detroit. He went to an auto shop. I don't know. It was really bad. It was a really bad look for him. And it was a non-union shop too. So like he went there because of like the UAW stuff. Because of like the UAW strikes. But like at the same time then he went to a non-union. We'll find more. I couldn't find much coverage of it, so we're gonna watch the Young Turks video about it.
What about the meeting with Trump? Would you meet with him when he's in Detroit tomorrow?
I see no point in meeting with him because I don't think the man has any bit of care about what our workers stand for, what the working class stands for. He serves a billionaire class, and that's what's wrong with this country.
UAW President Shawn Fain made it abundantly clear that he does not see former President Donald Trump as a warrior for the working class. He had no intentions of meeting with Trump as he addressed workers, non-unionized workers, at Drake Enterprises in Clinton Township, Michigan yesterday. Now, the question remains, who attended Trump's speech last night? Were they just employees from Drake Enterprises? Were there any unionized employees there? Did anyone from the United Auto Workers who are currently striking show up to support the former president? Well, the truth is unsettling, a little shady, and I want to give you the reporting surrounding the story. So let's begin with NBC News, which reported that the audience was a mix of workers from the host company, again, Drake Enterprises, and UAW members and area politicians. Many in the crowd waved Union Members for Trump signs printed in the University of Michigan's blue and gold colors. Fascinating. Okay, great. So it sounds like, regardless of how I feel about Trump, that makes it appear as though there were, in fact, some UAW workers there, some unionized workers who support Trump and see him as a warrior for the working class. Except then you dig a little deeper. And one thing that I would recommend to anyone in regard to like media literacy and kind of getting to the truth of any story is these national sources, whether it be New York Times, Washington Post, NBC News, they're fine, but see if there's any local reporting on it. Luckily, the Detroit News reported on this story, and reporters from the Detroit News spoke to some of the individuals who attended, including those who held signs that implied that they were unionized workers. Here's what they found. One individual in the crowd who held a sign that said, "Union Members for Trump," acknowledged that she wasn't a union member when approached by a Detroit News reporter after the event. So that's a little strange. I mean, if you're not a union worker, why would you hold a sign that says "Union Workers for Trump"? I don't know, but there's more. One person with a sign that read "Auto Workers for Trump" said he wasn't an auto worker when asked for an interview. Both people didn't provide their names. Fascinating. Now look, let's be 1,000% clear. It is unclear, absolutely unclear, why they presented themselves in such a deceptive way or how many, if any, United Auto Workers or unionized employees were present at Trump's speech.
And it doesn't really matter. I mean, it was at a non-union shop, too. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's like, it's such a bad look. I mean, there's plenty of proof out there showing that Trump does not give a shit about the working class. And it's just, I don't know, it's funny to me. Like, I don't even know if it's a bad look for him because he's such like an obvious criminal who doesn't give a shit about the working class. But again, I think it just really goes to show like the state of strikes right now. I was talking about the GOP debate recently, and something that appears in the first one and in the second one, both times, is that they both have like the candidates talking immense amount of shit about the teachers' unions. Like, they just hate unions. That's the thing. Like, they're not on the side of workers. They're not the working class party at all. But they like to pretend that they are. Ted Cruz likes to pretend that they are. There was like something, it wasn't a guideline. It was like, I don't know, like the CC, I don't know. It is a guideline, beer limit guideline that doesn't exist. It's more like, hey, if you want to consider yourself healthy, don't drink over like 2 beers a week. I think that's what it said. It wasn't like a guideline. It's not like a rule. It's just like, hey, this is what you should do if you want to be healthy. like don't drink over 2 beers, and he did a whole thing with like working class people behind him. It was such an awkward video. I'm gonna try to pull it up.
Look, Tommy,
Sure.
politicians kind of trying to seem cool. Let's look at this latest clip we've got of a certain Ted Cruz.
They're trying to go after and regulate ceiling fans. I got to tell you, it's hot in Texas. We don't want to get rid of our ceiling fans. And now these idiots have come out and said, drink 2 beers a week. That's their guideline. Well, I got to tell you, if they want us to drink 2 beers a week, frankly, they can kiss my ass.
Yeah, that was his video. It's just Ted Cruz is just such a brain dead moron who thinks like by surrounding him with working class people that will be like, oh no, we are like for the working class. But like he and all of his fellow Republicans do so much when it comes to like just making like conditions for the working class people just as bad as can be.